And here we are, all three of us. Little surprise there, just checking you're all awake, ladies.
Hi.
Welcome to Wicked Women. It is Sunday, and as usual, we are here. Well, actually, not as usual, but we are here.
We are.
We tend to take a sabbatical. But actually, we're coming earlier tonight from London because our clock went back last night. We all got an extra hour's sleep, but now we don't know when it's breakfast or dinner.
That's crazy how your all's time goes back a week before ours does.
I didn't know that it went like that. That's so
bizarre. That's so weird.
So yeah, you are next week. We were yesterday. And so I got up this morning and I went to bed last night thinking the clock's going back. Woke up this morning going, oh, I completely forgot. So, yes. And as you can see, we have let's put up the title. So people know, here it is. We're talking about we were so excited because, you know, we are wicked women and we have all the witchy things. So it's really lovely to be talking about Samhain, which I've been practicing all day. Samhain, because most people do pronounce it Samhain, and of course it's not, it's Samhain. Ladies, before we begin, how are you doing? How was your week?
It was all right. I'm still sick, so you know, not feeling the greatest, and my head's still all fuzzy, and my brain fog is way high. But it was still a good week despite all that. Thank you.
And you're looking pretty witchy there.
I thank you.
Love the hat, girl. Love the hat. And may I say, Val, fine looking outfit. You look fabulous, girl.
I can't breathe. But,
well, they say fashion has to hurt, and it's absolutely
true.
But
you don't have. I mean, I think I pushed all my organs up into my chest, and then there's no room for air.
You look fabulous. I mean, when I saw Val, I was like, whoa, and she was like,
yeah,
amazing.
I have a disappearing necklace. So
yes, and I've been in ponytails for most of the day, trying to get used to this hairstyle, and it's like by the time I take them out later on, my head's going to be like, thank you.
Yeah.
JP says more like fashion has hurt the wallet. Really? When was? Have you had a lady that's made you pay for it, JP? I mean, clothes.
Yeah. Well.
Before he gets the wrong idea. Anyway, welcome to Wicked Women. Everyone that's joining us in the chat room and on Wicked Women, AAA on YouTube and The Dark Huntress, and also from my Wendy Robertson on my Facebook page. And it's live. We're coming live from London. London, baby. If you haven't worked that out by the accent by now. And live from Virginia with the lovely Val, and live from Chicago with Carly.
That's right.
It's hard to know where I'm coming from because I don't have an accent.
You don't have an accent. Yeah, you do.
I mean, nobody can tell if I'm northern or southern because I don't have an accent.
What Katie did, I don't know what that is. We don't have that here. So is that a good lingerie shop, ladies?
Never heard of it.
Me, I
never heard of it. What Katie did. She didn't sound like she was very naughty.
You do.
So, I've never heard of that one.
No, me neither. So back to the show because that's why we're dressed like this.
What's Halloween?
It's Halloween week, baby.
Or damn near.
All Hallows Eve, Halloween, Samhain. It's that kind of week where bumps in the night, tales from the crypt, ghosty goblins, witchy, all kinds of things go on. And also, as we look at the difference between Samhain and Halloween, there is a difference between the two. And I set my ladies a task this week. They were like, what are we doing? And we talked about it, and I was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. So let's look at the lovely Samhain, because a lot of people obviously have heard of Halloween, but they haven't heard of Samhain. And I was watching Outlander, or rather, I've just watched all series 7 of pretty much of Outlander, and they pronounced it Samhain because it is a Celtic festival, Celtic pagan festival, where it began from, Scotland and Ireland, before it actually traveled the globe over to America, and where you guys pretty much adopted it.
We adopted parts of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Val, you were looking into
Hecate.
and Kylie was looking into Samhain, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
What did you find out, Kylie?
Oh, a lot of information.
Go for it, Gal.
And like I said, I'm still sick, so I don't have all the information.
That's okay. We're filling the blanks.
So I'll have to read off my notes more than usual. But as you were saying, it's originally Samhain is the OG Halloween. It is where Halloween, as we know it, stems from. So it's a pagan religious festival, and it was brought over, as Wendy said, by the Celtic spiritual tradition. It's celebrated from October 31st to November 1st, and it's celebrated to welcome in the dark half of the year. And it is a time when they believe that the veil between the physical world and the spiritual world is thin, so we're able to make connections with the dead more easily. Early texts present that there was a mandatory celebration lasting 3 days, actually, and they would dress as Samhain monsters because they believed that the barrier was thin between the worlds and it was breakable at the time as well. They would leave offerings outside the village. And it was expected that the ancestors could cross over between the worlds during this time, and the Celts would dress as animals and monsters so that the fairies would not kill them. In the Middle Ages, Samhain progressed, as well as the celebrations of fire festivals with bonfires, as well as the jack-o'-lanterns started around that time. And there was also the tradition of a dumb supper that began, which was when food was consumed by the celebrants, but only after they invited the ancestors to join in. And they would give the families a chance to interact with the spirits until they left following the dinner. The children would play games to entertain the dead, while the adults would update the dead on the past year's news. That night, the doors and windows would be left open for the dead to come in and eat the cake that had been left for them. For the Christian Samhain, Christianity gained footholds in pagan communities where the church leaders attempted to reframe Samhain as a Christian celebration. And that's when October 31st became known as All Hallows Eve, or Halloween as we know it today. And it contained much of the traditional pagan practices through Irish immigrants bringing their traditions across the ocean as well. So trick-or-treating is said to have been derived from the ancient Irish and Scottish practices in the nights leading up to Samhain. In Ireland, mumming was the practice of putting on costumes and going door to door, singing songs to the dead, and that's also when they brought the cakes for payments. And Halloween pranks also began around that time, with the traditional Samhain. Through ancient celebrations, the trick-or-treating was typically blamed on the fairies. And so with Wicca and Samhain, that is more of a broader revival of Samhain. resembling its traditional pagan form in the 1980s with the growing popularity of Wicca. And Wicca's celebration of Samhain takes on many forms, from the traditional fire ceremonies to the celebrations that embrace many aspects of modern Halloween, as well as activities related to honoring the nature or the ancestors.
It's interesting, Carly, just to interject there, bringing up some of the stuff you're saying. So Celtic, Scottish, Irish, maybe even the Welsh, it was a big thing for them. And as we know, in the original calendar, there was only 10 months. There was only 10 months of the original calendar. And the Catholic Church brought in an extra 2 months as well. So Halloween or All Hallows Eve or Samhain was the last day of the year. It was the end of the old year, beginning of the new. So for them, it was like, this is like New Year's Eve in some ways. And so it's interesting that at Christmas time, we put up Christmas trees and we hang things on the boards and everything on there, and we tinsel it. But actually, they used to, the pagans and the Celts, they used to bring in branches and plants and everything, and they would decorate them inside as well as using they weren't pumpkins. We didn't have them. We had turnips. We had turnips as the jack-o'-lanterns, which aren't as beautiful as pumpkins.
No, but they did the job.
They're not as pretty, are they?
Close enough.
But these
But I
people,
mean, then they didn't put them out as decoration.
they were genuinely scared.
They were to scare off, evil spirits or whatever. So I guess the uglier the better.
They were generally scared of the spirits because they believed that it was the night that ghosts or people that had passed over could come. And the veil was thin. Now I don't know where they got that view from, but they could come and they could walk, so they were scared. And it's weird that for years this country and Ireland and Scotland, perhaps, we didn't celebrate it as much as you guys do, and now it's starting to really pick its feet up back here.
I was going to say, is it becoming more of a thing over there now?
It is, yeah, very much so. People will be having Halloween parties. They will be, everywhere you go, you'll see like pumpkins for sale. Now got farms doing pumpkin and Halloween nights and Halloween days. It's very important. I mean, to the Celts, Samhain was a ritual. It was rituals for protection. Leaving out the food and drink, and they would put skulls with candles in them and hung them in trees to invite the spirits of the dead or to scare off. But if you're a big supernatural fan, which I am, they actually had a demon called Samhain, and he turned up, and I was like, really, there's a demon named Samhain? I didn't know that. And they actually banished him. Did you ever see that, Carly?
No, I did not see or run across that.
I watched it again tonight just to brush up on my notes on that. But very much like another holiday that Christianity tend to take over, Carly, and make it their own.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Turn it into a Hallmark holiday, if you will.
Yeah. Well, I think the church did a lot. I think the church did a lot of celebrations like that. Easter, Halloween, Christmas. They took what they wanted out of it and then left the rest as, this pagan thing. So they took what they wanted and adapted it.
Yep.
I mean, Ireland, is the little people, very important to the Irish. Fairies and pixies and leprechauns. And apparently the fires that they lit they were all extinguished and could only be rekindled with a ceremonial fire lit by the Druids at Samhain and I can't even pronounce this, but I'm going to give it a go. Talacha. Maybe I probably got that wrong. Now the hill of the world. But why is it like, it seems so important for that Celts to take that over? Do you think, Carly, to America, brand new country, brand new start? Why do you think they took it with them?
Because it was something that they, held it very importance to. It was something that was at the top of their list of their traditions. It was, you don't just let traditions go because you move across the country. You bring them with you.
But isn't it interesting, when all the witch trials were going on, that here was a celebration that you could actually celebrate and dress up and pretend to be all these demonic, witchy, that was allowed.
Yeah. Which is honestly is kind of shocking if you think about it. You're like, wait a second, they actually did allow that?
I actually found a picture. Someone had kept they found an old skull with I just think that's amazing, all those skulls hanging from the trees with candles in them. That must have been incredibly scary.
Yeah, it's cool and very scary.
They don't do that now.
At night, when a full moon out and you just hear the trees creaking in the wind and the skulls with their candles are just lit up, that'd be quite creepy, to say the least.
Do you think that, Carly, that the witch, because witches are so seen to be next door to Samhain and Halloween, they always use, witches ride on their brooms in the sky with the full moon and everything. And yet these are women that were persecuted by so many for being evil and got rid of. And yet on that night, it was okay. Do you think that it's got bigger in America, like every year? Like, do you think it's got bigger out there, or has it stayed the same?
I feel like it was like getting bigger there for a while, like a few years back even, and like really blowing up with like everything from, the witches side to it, to the monsters, to all that, to then I don't know if it was COVID or what exactly it was, but it seems like around that time or before then even, like it's kind of, decreased the popularity of it, at least to me, what it seems from observing the world around me. It seems like, there's less stuff at the stores for Halloween, like there's only like a couple aisles instead it used to be like 5+ aisles of all Halloween stuff. So I don't know, it kind of seems like it's not as big as it had been here. What do you think, Val? You feel this?
I think that in people's minds it's as big as it always has been, but I think maybe things have gotten more dangerous, so they're not necessarily when I was a kid, we could dress up and go walk around, and now it's a little more dangerous to do that, especially since years ago when they were putting things in the candy. And so I think people have just become more cautious about it. And, I think they have more like parties at a location instead of just letting kids loose. You know what I mean? So it may not have went down, but I think as far as people dressing up and kids and all this, I think that's went down a bit because of the scares that we've had for so many years.
Did you say they were putting things in the sweets?
Yeah.
What were they putting in there?
Everything from razor blades to drugs to, yeah.
That's a shame. That's a shame. But you know what? There's a lot of old people. I shouldn't rephrase that. There's a lot of elderly people that are scared about Halloween because they have got kids in masks looking horrific, knocking on their door, asking, and they don't just want sweets, they want money, they want other stuff as well. And it's the perfect night, like Guy Fawkes night, when Guy Fawkes is over here and all the fireworks and everything goes off. A lot of people don't hear what's going on. It's a perfect night to burgle someone. It's really scary, opening up your front door and you've got these kids or adolescents wear these horrific masks, and I can see why so many people are scared.
Well, people take advantage of things, and then it kind of ruins it for everybody.
Yep.
That's a real shame. I've not heard about that so much
really
over here. As in the touch wood. I mean, I'm not saying it, but over here it's definitely kids knocking on the door, asking for money as well. I mean, it's lovely, isn't it? Halloween, they want money. Guy Fawkes, like penny for the guy, which is like £1 for the guy. And then at Christmas time, it's carol singing, let's have money. I mean, it's talk about a way to bring money in, right?
Wow.
Now, like we were talking about the goddess of Halloween, Samhain. You were having a look into her. Tell us about her.
Well, Hecate, she is the goddess of the underworld, the crossroads, magic, witchcraft, things like that. So she's able to move from this world and the underworld. She can move back and forth, and she can speak to the dead. So that's the reason that a lot of the worshipers would call on her at Samhain, because the veil was a lot thinner. Therefore, she had more power to do things in either world at that time. She's also the goddess of the crossroads. So, like you said, supernatural. You know what the crossroads is.
Yeah.
She's kind of good. She can be kind of good or bad. She can. I guess it depends on who is calling her and what they're wanting. Because she is like the chief goddess of like spells and witchcraft, things like that, and magic. But she also guards, boundaries and the crossroads, and she kind of holds a balance.
Now, how did the Greek goddess Val get to be associated with Halloween and Samhain?
I mean, honestly, I have no idea. She originated in Thrace. It's in Bulgaria and Greece. But she just kind of, I don't know how she went from just Greek over to other, places, unless, people took their belief over there. Because she is also associated with helping Demeter find Persephone when Hades abducted Persephone. And because she's the image of her, she has like 2 torches. And so she was able to go to the underworld and help Demeter find Persephone. So she's kind of like she's not necessarily like Hera is just an evil goddess. Hecate is more, she can be a loving, helpful spirit and guide, and she can also, bring the pain. Right. So I think it all depends on the ones that are summoning her, and their intentions.
And she's seen as the crone, I believe, as well, because obviously with the pagans, very much their year is Mother Maiden Crone, and also obviously, so it's the crone time of year, isn't it?
Right, and she's actually she's depicted a lot of, you know, maiden, mother, and crone.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she is all three, depending on when. But she's also depicted with three faces and her torches. So, you know, she can also, she also has represented herself as like a dog, a horse, a snake. She, you know, she is she kind of holds the keys to Cerberus, to his chains. She holds the key to Cerberus's chains. So she's kind of, she's very odd because most of the time the goddesses are either on one side or the other. She's kind of in the middle.
Yeah,
depending on the people.
Fence.
Yeah.
She sits on, typical woman sits on the fence.
Yeah, she's undecided. She don't know.
Another one that I remember Supernatural actually found as well. Interesting when these TV programs pick up bits and pieces and then bring them to life so people actually find out about them. We were talking about the difference between Samhain and Halloween. They are very different things. People seem to think they're the same. In fact, you'll hear more people say Halloween than you'll hear them say All Hallows Eve or Samhain. And as Carly very eloquently pointed out, you know, Samhain being Celtic, you know, as a festival. And Halloween comes from Christian because 31st of October was the last day, which was Samhain, and then the November the 1st, which a lot of you guys will know as the day, you know, Day of the Dead, you know, where you celebrate. But the Christian church brought in the All Hallows Day, I think it's something like that, where you know, praise and send out love and to your lost ones or whatever. So that's where All Hallows Eve came from. It was the night before All Souls Day, I believe, which is November the 1st. So then it became Halloween. So Eve, Hallow, All Hallows Eve, Hallow, it gets put together, and that's where it comes from. Samhain is a festival that is from sunset on the 31st of October until sunset of the 1st of November. That is Halloween, or Samhain, should say. And also, I suppose you're looking at, as you say, very much pagan. You know, the nights are drawing in, harvest festivals being done. You know, you're preparing for winter. You want to make sure that you've had a good harvest. You can survive the winter coming. It was very much a time of thanking, because a lot of these festivals are about, or celebrations, aren't they, Carly? They're about thanking the gods, you know, for still being here and having the festival, the harvest.
Yeah, correct, exactly.
And also, I just wanted to bring this in really quickly. Apparently, they used to feasts were had at which the souls of the dead kin were beckoned to attend, and a place would be set at the table for them. Mumming and guising were part of the festival and involved people going door to door in costume or in disguise, often reciting verses in exchange for food. That is trick or treat. That is where it obviously begins, where they're dressed up. And that's where it begins. So let's have a look at Halloween, ladies. Did you do a bit of research on Halloween, Carly?
No, I was
Or was it
focused
Val?
on
Did you do that?
Uh, well, no, I did
Okay.
Hecate,
We were.
but in AD 43, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of Celtic territory.
Ain't that the truth?
Huh?
Ain't that the truth?
In the course of the 400 years that they ruled the Celtic lands, two festivals of the Roman origin were combined with the traditional Celtic celebration of Samhain. So that's where the Greek gods that the Romans, celebrated came over, and that's where the the Celts started worshiping Hecate. So that's
Can you
where she
believe
came over.
that's almost 2,000 years ago that Samhain was begun by the Celts?
Yeah.
2,000 years. People think
Wow.
Halloween is a new up to date thing, or as in our lifetime, it's our lifetime. But that blows my mind that Ireland, the United Kingdom, and France, etc., celebrated their New Year on November the 1st.
Yeah.
What did Halloween mean to you as a child, Carly? What did it mean to you?
As a child growing up, it was just you get to dress up and you're getting candy. That's what it meant growing up, and I was always so excited because I loved to dress up and I loved candy. And then as I got older, it became about the scary side of Halloween. So instead of all the fun and cute costumes, I would want to be the scary and evil ones. And it wasn't until I got in my late teens, early 20s that it became different for me.
What's different about it now?
Well, now I actually, practice it for its true meaning and not just as a Hallmark holiday.
Do you still trick or treat? Do you take your young girl out?
Oh, that's the sad thing. She really wants to go, and she's wanted to go like every year. But lo and behold, with Chicago weather and stuff, it never seems to fail that it'll be nice, the week before Halloween. And then Halloween week comes and it ends up pouring rain and it's like in the 40s, or it ends up snowing flurries, or there's a real bad, flu going around. So there's been something every year that we just haven't been able to go. So we'll do our own version of trick or treating at home, and make up like each little door in the house is a one, and either me or my husband will go hide behind it and we'll switch off and take places and let her still have her own version of trick or treating and not get sick or exposed to the elements.
Absolutely. What did it mean to you, Val? Like when you were young?
Well, I mean, I've always loved, the dressing up part. You could be anybody you wanted to be, I think it actually had more meaning to me after I did have kids, because I could see them having so much fun, dressing up and going trick or treating, and doing all the fun things. And I think it had a lot more meaning, because I mean, they would dress up, but I always dressed up too.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's like our tradition that I always dress up too. So we would all three dress up, and then I would take them out trick or treating. So it was just fun. It didn't really have any other meaning except the kids wanted to dress up and, just have fun.
It was weird because I wasn't brought up in a family that celebrated Halloween It was never talked about. You know, I don't remember my parents ever saying to me about Halloween. And then my mother says out of the blue, I just said to her, well, I want to do Halloween. And she's like, where did you get that from? Where did you hear that from? I have no memory of where I heard it or what I did, but I was one of the first people I remember as all my friends to actually go, we're going to have a Halloween party. And they were like, what's that? You know, and to celebrate it. For me, I was always drawn. There was something about it that I felt drawn to. And obviously, as I've got older and I discovered the whole witchy side to myself, it was like I should be following this. You know, I should be, you know, it drew me to it. I wanted to learn more about witchcraft and all the witchy side of things, using that as an example. It just felt like natural. And I find myself, I was really drawn to reading about Salem and the Pendle, etc., as a young kid, and trying to boost my, you know, my memory. And also, it's weird because I swear I've been burnt at the stake in a previous life, because we have Guy Fawkes coming up on the 5th of November, completely different ritual, but I couldn't stand seeing an effigy burnt. And so my mum would make this beautiful guy and I'd start crying and I would never see it burnt. And I still can't handle it now. And I wonder where that comes from, if that's, you know, like a throwback. It just felt to me that the craft and Halloween and all those Beltane and everything that goes with it, it just felt like there was something unlocked in me that I had to unlock. So I remember, like, it's my Christmas, you know, and this time everything comes out in July. You know, now you go to the shops and they've all got the stuff out in July and you're like, hang on a minute, it's not October. But it's my Christmas. And I remember, like, this year I dragged my poor suffering boyfriend around every single place that had Halloween stuff, because I was like, oh my God. And he was like, he had no idea that, you know, I was this big into Halloween. And all of a sudden I was buying glasses with ghosts and goblins on. And then I was buying stuff for him with stuff on. And he was like, now he's got stuff with ghosts and goblins and pumpkins on. And it's kind of like, you know, infectious. And I normally have a party every year, but I have not this year. It's really, I have a party normally every year or every other year, to be fair. I have a Halloween party. Love it. And it's a shame you guys are over there, because you would be there. But to me, I take it very seriously. And yet the last couple of years, I've not been able to enjoy Halloween. Henry died. You know, my uncle was sick and we lost him. And it was just like one thing after another. I didn't get to celebrate it. But I'm drawn to it. And I think it's a wonderful, I'm really depressed when it leaves the stores, you know, and I'm like, oh no, it's just Christmas now. And don't get me wrong, I love Christmas, but it's not the same.
Can't we celebrate Halloween first without getting all the Christmas stuff out?
Well, have you noticed, or did you notice, when I was in like school, it seems like every Halloween, all the girls wanted to dress up as things like hookers.
Yep.
Or, you know.
Guilty.
And it's like, you know, because I think it's because, you know, they were able to, you know.
It's acceptable.
It's that taboo thing.
Acceptable.
You know, they would naturally not wear, you know, mini or a tube top for a mini skirt, but it was okay that day.
Yes. There was no judgment. You could dress.
Yeah.
What,
and I'm not saying anything about you, because I did the same thing. But
thank you for
know, you want the fishnets and all that stuff. It's like you wanted to dress up as something just as, you know, out there as you possibly can.
Yep.
And
Yep.
everybody picked Hooker.
Well,
There must be a
actually
gene in women that just go, right, we're going to dress up. Let's just be hookers.
it
Yeah, I
wasn't
mean, let's get
What
as
is wrong
skanky
with
as
it?
we possibly can.
it
You
wasn't
know,
just a hooker. It was Little Bo Peep turned slutty. It was
Yeah.
raggedy
it
and
was like the
rated
biggest
R.
skank you could think of. That's what I wanted to go as.
And
I
of
mean,
course, there is that they're good memories, aren't they? Like, you get the photographs out every year. There was me at school in my Halloween. What were you that year? I was a cheerleader. I was a hooker. I
yeah,
was a nun.
exactly. And it's like, why didn't somebody tell me not to wear crap like that?
And of course, with all things in life, she says, putting the glasses on so she can actually see, there is a dark side to Samhain and Halloween. And this part never actually fails me every year. But every time we're celebrating Halloween, there are also certain faiths and certain ways and beliefs that actually do celebrate it in a very, very different way. And because you'll have rituals done, and some of that involves sacrifice, and some of that would be animals, and etc. Let's leave it at that. But literally, it always makes me sad that there is this sad side to it, and a lot of it talk about that. Some say at Samhain there were offerings and there were sacrifices made, because they had to give something to whoever it was. And one thing I kept hearing about was the god or idol Crom Cruach. And definitely in Ireland, he seems to be quite out there, Crom Cruach. And some say that the firstborn child would be sacrificed at the stone idol of Crom Cruach. Because they would worship him. And I wondered, looking at him, if we can just dig him up. That sounds good, doesn't it?
Let's not.
Let's not dig him up, but let's at least have a look at him, Crom Cruach. Because years ago, I remember Robin and Sherwood, a great TV show over here, actually did bring in Crom Cruach. And he wasn't a particularly very nice person. But this is who they obviously believed that they were sacrificing to. He's Crom Cruach is a figure in Irish mythology who's imagined as an ancient fertility deity, and later as a demon who confronted St. Patrick and was banished by the said saint. Being a pagan fertility god, Crom Cruach is associated with human sacrifice. Its name is roughly translated as crooked and bloody, which further granted the entity a malicious reputation in the modern age. That is kind of scary.
Yeah, and it wasn't just, the firstborn of someone. It was every firstborn from every family, and the firstborn of every livestock. So, it wasn't just, one or two. It was the firstborn of everybody.
Yeah.
And their animals as well.
And it seems that when St. Patrick came along, that Crom Cruach that started to get pushed behind. But he seems to be like, and I've actually seen a lot of pictures that people have drawn over the years.
I like
right?
to draw pictures.
Yeah, me too. I'm always at it. But Crom Cruach apparently is as a god hidden by mist, represented as a gold figure surrounded by 12 stone or bronze figure, a demonic snake or monstrous worm, possibly referring to a wyvern, a type of dragon. He, prior to Christianity, Crom Cruach was already monstrous and cruel to begin with, no better than a demon Saint Patrick perceived as. I mean, God, some of these pagan things, they are... they're a bit bloody, aren't they?
Yeah. a bit much.
I would suggest a few people go and look at it. But and also there are obviously there are other beliefs that will sacrifice animals and to their own gods, shall we say, at that time of year. So it does make me very sad that when that happens as well. It's also a very, if you're very religious, if you have a lot of, there are some people that will not celebrate Halloween or All Saints or Hallows Eve. Sorry, I've got my stuff here. Val, is that because you think that even in 2024 we are still terrified by the darkness, the other side of life, what is out there?
Sure. I mean, depending on how you were brought up, or certain beliefs that you have, I think that a lot of Christians look at Halloween as simply just a pagan holiday.
Yeah.
I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And they can't separate that from, okay, kids having fun, going and getting candy, and that's all. Not bringing anything deeper into it. Just like any other, Christmas or anything like that, there's definitely a pagan undertone.
Yes.
Because that's where it came from.
And we're still celebrating that.
But some people are not able to separate Christmas and honoring one thing and how it came to be, if that makes sense.
I think the church very much thought that if they brought things in slowly, then they could push out the pagan side of things.
Right.
And I was looking at some of the.
I think a lot of times, people who don't understand it, or don't know the history of it, are just afraid that either they're doing something demonic by celebrating something like that, or something's going to happen to them if they celebrate something like that. It's like they can't disconnect, the two.
Yep.
And, like I said, I've always celebrated Halloween since I was a kid. It's never been anything more for me than dressing up. I didn't go into the background of it until I got much older.
But now you have dipped into the background of it. Do you see it differently?
In some aspects, but I'm still able to disconnect.
Yeah.
When me and my girls are dressing up and going out or whatever, we're not worshiping anything. You know what I mean? It's simply the fun of it. We're not, we're not dressing up because we want to make the spirits believe that we're not who we are. It's simply because we enjoy doing it. So it's almost like taking a movie that someone made as the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Harry Potter, for instance, people went all berserk because he was teaching kids how to be magic.
Mm-hmm.
You take it as a movie. That's all it was. It was a movie.
Yeah.
Just like any other movie.
Yep.
It's become so much bigger than that.
You have to disconnect the two.
Carly, when you were looking at the origins of Samhain with the Celts, I was looking at earlier on today, and it's interesting that the Romans, who came over to Ireland and Scotland and the UK, and basically conquered us for a little while. They actually had their own festivals, and apparently they combined them with some of the Celtic ones, which obviously was Samhain. And one of those was Feralia, a day in late October when the Romans traditionally commemorated the passing of the dead. And the second was a day to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. And the symbol of Pomona is an apple. And the incorporation of this celebration into Samhain probably explains where bobbing for apples comes from, because we have all these traditions for Halloween, don't we? We have the trick-or-treating, the bobbing apples, looking into a mirror and see what's, if anyone's looking out of it. Do you find that you do any of those rituals, Carly, for your Halloween? Do you do anything like that?
Yeah, I like to decorate the house for Halloween for myself and my family, as well as my daughter now, especially. She loves Halloween too. So, and fall. So, there's fall is my favorite season. So, we got to mix the fall decorations, all the changing leaves, colors, all that stuff with the Halloween decorations. And as I mentioned, how we attempt to do our trick-or-treating with her. But I would say those two are probably the biggest for me.
Yeah. Is it a big thing in your household, Halloween?
It is. Everybody knows it's my favorite. Everybody knows out of all my Halloween, or out of all my holiday decorations, I have the most of fall and Halloween. So it's always a big fun ordeal. I mean, if I could, I would decorate for Halloween in like August, but that sounds a little extreme.
I don't think so, though, because I mean, I've got some of my stuff out, but I haven't got it all. But I actually think that it should be Halloween all year round.
Agreed.
Well, you can use your Halloween decorations as just everyday Gothic. I love that Gothic aesthetic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have to just be Halloween.
That's very true.
So it can be anytime, all the time. My daughters do too. So,
what about Wendy? What is Halloween to you?
Oh my goodness! Well, I mean, I love it. I absolutely. I would have. If my life had been a lot easier this year, I would have pumpkins. I've got 6 pumpkins outside waiting to be decorated. They are sitting there, waiting to be decorated, which they will be. But they would go down the stairs. I'd have lots of lights on. I remember when I went I spent one amazing Halloween in Calgary, and it was wonderful because people had these great lights in their windows, and you went past some people's gardens and the smoke was rising from there, and they had these sort of gravestones with hands coming out. And Canada, it's a big thing in Canada. It's celebrated. It's huge out there, and I actually got to see it for the first time in another country, and it was so amazing seeing Halloween with all these kids, and they were like coming for you guys call it candy, candy. And my friend,
what do you call it?
We call them sweets.
Oh, sweets. Oh, okay. I did
so
not.
We were like, my friend says, I've got all the candy. Do you want to hand it out? And I was like, oh, please let me do it. And all these kids are like, trick or treat. And I was like, hi, you look great. Do you want some candy? And they were just like scooping it out of the bowl. And that meant so much to me. And that's when I realized I was born in the wrong country. 100%. I've always felt drawn to America. As a child, I always felt like I should have been born in America. And all my life, I've felt that until I went to Canada. And obviously, I fell in love with that. But you guys are right next door. But it is a big thing for me. And it's like the cat used to get, dressed up. At the moment, he hasn't. Henry had his own outfits. He had a pumpkin outfit. He had a shark outfit. There was the devil outfit. He had all kinds of So good memories, very much good memories. And I hope to do something this year to celebrate it. I mean, it's, as I said, I think my other half was kind of shocked by, we have to go in this store and then we have to go in that one. And they've got Halloween stuff here. And he was like, oh my God.
I just love window shopping. Like, I don't even have to buy it all, but let me go to every Halloween store there is. I want to see all the new decorations and all that fun stuff. I love going to Halloween.
Do you all remember when, well, I don't know about Wendy, but I know over here we used to have that one Halloween store that was open all the time. Always had costumes.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what time of year, you could go get costumes.
We had
and then it stopped, and it was just once a year, like for a certain amount of time. And then that even stopped. And then now you've got Spirit Halloween that pops up every.
Oh, yeah.
You know. But I mean, literally in the mall, there was a shop, a costume shop in the mall all the time.
Yeah, that's so cool.
But Sandra says she loves Halloween. She'll be waiting for the kids to knock on the door. I have a pumpkin lit up in the window. I love the little kids. I have to watch Hocus Pocus. I mean, it's an absolute must. That is
classic.
I have to watch it.
Every Halloween.
Salem the Cat.
Yeah.
And it's, I watched the second Hocus Pocus, which isn't a patch on the first one. No. I've never seen Halloween, the movie, because that's not my kind of thing.
Really?
But I've seen all 24 of them.
Yeah.
I've not even done one. I just
can't.
You
don't like horror movies?
I don't like horror with masks and slashing and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't do anything for me at all. But as we're talking to two lovely ladies in America, I was looking at Halloween in America, and obviously colonial New England. We came over there, and you kicked us out, but we came over there, and because of the rigid Protestant belief systems, Halloween apparently was more common in Maryland and the southern colonies. And as the belief and customs of different European ethnic groups and the American Indians meshed, a distinctly American version of Halloween began to emerge. And the first celebrations included play parties, which were public events held to celebrate the harvest, where neighbors would share stories of the dead, tell each other's fortunes, dance and sing. And apparently in 2010, Americans spent $700 million on costumes for their pets for Halloween.
Wow.
That is absolutely amazing.
Wow, holy moly.
But I also think as well, for me, do people do things like the Ouija board and tarot and stuff like that at Halloween? Are there, because I know people that do that.
Nobody I'm around does.
Really?
I don't, so I don't. I mean, somebody else might, but I'm not.
It seems to be the night, doesn't it? Where
I don't like to push my luck. So,
what about you, Carly? Did you do anything like that?
I did do the Ouija board when I was younger. Yes. Yep. And I did the light as a feather, stiff as a board. Yeah.
I've done that.
I did that all. I went through that phase when I was 12, 13. That was when I first started diving into Wicca, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Light as a feather, stiff as a board, light as a feather. I remember that. I saw that in the craft. That was the first time, I'm so angry at my country because, like, we used to celebrate it, right?
Yeah.
But now we don't, right? And now we do, but then we stopped celebrating. And I think also when England became a republic and Oliver Cromwell became the head of England, we weren't allowed to do anything. There was no dancing, there was no celebrating, there was nothing like that. So anything like that would have gone right out the window. So I feel like I'm catching up with you guys, you know. And I'm so jealous when I see you guys go out and you're all dressed up and you all go out together. And it's like, I want to do that. You know,
I don't do that either. I stay home. If I go out with anybody, it's my daughters, and I just go to their house.
Do you not go out, all three of you, like trick-or-treating?
Not since they are adults.
You can still do it. Like, I swear, some people be like, "Oh, look, you look great," you know.
I mean, I'm sure that if I said, "Let's dress up and go eat," or "Let's dress up," they would be fine with it. We dress up, and actually, this Thursday, this Halloween, this Thursday, I will be doing my Miss Legends of the Paranormal.
Oh, cool.
So hopefully they will be with me, like they were last year. So,
and because last year you dressed up as an amazing costume.
Yes, we were Hocus Pocus. We were the Sandersons.
She looked amazing.
I don't think I've seen that picture. I have to.
It's on her page. She looks fantastic.
I on your page.
So I'm not sure what we'll do, but normally, if we do, we'll go on live for a little while. We'll dress up, go on live a little while, and then have something to eat and sit and watch a movie. Sit and watch a scary movie.
I mean, the truth is, like, it doesn't matter what day of the year it is. If you want to contact those that have gone over, you can do that. And yes, they say that because the Celts and everything believe that was the day that it was the veil was thin. That's still there, and I do believe that Halloween and Samhain has its own power. Because things will happen around that time. You'll hear people talk about this happened, or and for me, it's would I go to a haunted house on Halloween? Absolutely, I would. Would I go to a graveyard?
But do you think the veil is actually thinner on those days, or do you think it's because so many people have those thoughts
Both
on that time?
I think they were probably onto something back then, but I actually think the veil is, if you want to contact those that have gone over and those that want to contact you, I think there's always ways and means for them to do that, regardless of what day of the year it is. And Mark always says, why he hates the word haunted. He prefers the word active. It's got activity, and he always says, why does it have to be an old haunted place like a castle or a house? Your local supermarket could have activity, which is
I worked at a place in Lebanon, and I've heard and saw things there. So it doesn't have to, I don't think it has to be the proverbial old witchy house. I think it can be anything, and a brand new home could be built on bad land. So
the land,
it could be, and it's not just at night. They don't wait till it's nighttime. If they're there all the time. It's not just when it's dark. Don't have to be dark.
No,
I've noticed that a lot of the most haunted and things like over the years, they were always at night time, and they always have their their meters and everything like that. And I guess what it is that I suppose at night time maybe our senses are heightened, but
it's more dramatic.
My place is quite active, or it's quite quiet lately. Well, within reason, but it's quite active because I remember a friend of mine was here one day, and I was washing up in the kitchen, and it was a summer afternoon, so it was nowhere near autumn, and my friend was on her phone watching the TV as I was washing up, and she when I came in, she had this pale look on her face, and she's like, "You ain't never going to believe what I just saw." And I said, "What did I miss?" She said, "Well, I was on the phone texting, and I looked up for 1 second, and I just see this woman walk through your lounge. She's all like white, dressed in white or whatever." And she said she just ignored me and just walked through your lounge and went through the wall. And I was like, she goes, "I was sitting here." Her words were, "I was sitting here shitting myself," thinking, "Oh my God." And that was amazing because she didn't know the history of this place where I did. And I was like, what does she look like? And I think that some people are scared. So when they see things like Halloween and masks, and some of the masks are horrific that you can buy out there, and they go around and they've got your arm falling off and the blood spearing out. And, some people just don't want to see that.
Yeah.
But to me, like, I'd put Henry in, I would have, and I didn't, but I would put Henry in a pushchair and dress him up and take him trick or treating, because at the end of the day, I think as we get older, we don't get to do those great things that we never really appreciated, I think, when we were young.
Yep.
It's wasted on the young, isn't it?
Yes.
What's your favorite Halloween movie, Val?
Besides Hocus Pocus? Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, Freddy Krueger. What is it about that movie that draws you in?
I think it was the fact that he came in their dreams.
Yeah.
And I've always had those night terrors.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, and I still do. But I've had them since I was a kid. So I think I kind of related to it a little bit. I think that's why it scared me so much.
Sandra says hers is The Fog. Movie I've never seen. I need to see that.
Yeah, it's good.
Carly, what about you? What's your favorite movie? Halloween movie?
I mean, I'm with Val on the besides Hocus Pocus. I think I'd have to say Nightmare on Elm Street 2 over Halloween. I think I would. Yeah, Freddy was. Yeah, I don't have night terrors, thankfully, but I do have nightmares, and my insomnia is very bad. So yeah, that definitely appealed to me and made it a little more scary.
And I'll probably end up with one tonight. But thankfully, I've never had a night terror about Freddy.
That's good.
I think I can. It was kind of that. I'm like, I know how they feel because I don't want to go to sleep sometimes because I'm afraid.
I can't.
That I'm gonna have another night terror.
There were two movies that's always screwed me up. One was Poltergeist.
Oh,
that really freaked me out. I just saw that as a kid and I was like, no. And the other one, I still can't watch it, and I'm trying to remember the actual full title, but it's about Emily Rose, which is
The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
I cannot watch that film again. I watched it once, and that was enough for me.
I will tell you something. One movie that scared the crap out of me, and I will not watch alone. And I watch a lot of horror movies by myself. But The Shining.
Yes.
Yeah, I won't watch it by myself.
It took me years to watch The Shining, and I actually ended up watching The Shining thinking, and because her name is Wendy, and so like my ex-husband used to say to me, Wendy, light of my life, when you hear this noise, I'd be like, where's this come from? And he said, you need to watch The Shining.
Yeah, that movie scared the crap out of me.
He's so good in that movie, and it scared the shit out of me too. Like, and because, and it's weird because when you go to I was telling a few people this, Banff Springs Hotel in Banff in Alberta, they have a ballroom which is so similar to the one that was in The Shining, and because you're right out in the mountains, all you hear is. And you feel like the building's like going like this. And I swear to you, I was like, I'm going to see Jack. Just come past here in a minute. And I think that, we all like to be scared, don't we? We have this thing where we want to be terrified. We go to haunted houses. We'll go on a fairground ride, which is, scary or pushes our boundaries. What is it about human beings that like to be scared?
Oh, it's that adrenaline punch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I myself, I don't go to haunted houses and things like that. Like, don't walk through because I don't like jump scares.
Yep.
I do.
And I hate clowns.
Me
So
too.
I would literally tear down a wall if I got jump scared by a clown.
Oh,
Or have a heart attack, one or the other.
you would
So,
love haunted
I
house.
don't go.
She says that his golf course is haunted. It's called Whispering Woods. You never know what whispers you might hear out there. Oh,
so true. It's so creepy to be out there in the middle of the night. I go out there all the time for my walks. That's where our trail is. And I'll go at night. I don't take a headlamp or a flashlight or anything. I just walk by memorization and everything. So I'll be out there just doing my walk, and all of a sudden you just hear like the creepy trees when they're like in the wind, and you feel like it sounds literally like somebody's talking and whispering. You stop, you bust that phone light out, you're shining it around. There's nothing there. There's nothing around you.
JP, you'll have to show us the pictures of that, of the fog chiller. I need a fog machine. I have
one like right here, like right down here.
So wanted I want one with a cauldron, and then I want that. That's something I really, really want to do. Yeah. You have one.
Yeah.
Don't do the strobing. I just do the fog, the whole fog.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
It's pretty awesome too. We got some new fog juice for it.
You make your own movies there, Carly.
Some fog juice.
Fog juice. I don't know what to call it. It's fog juice, all right?
It just sounds gross.
It does.
I'm putting on the fog machine tonight.
I just stepped in frog juice.
I'm gonna set the mood with my fog.
So, like, if you had to go to somewhere like, people say to me, would you stay in an old asylum for the evening? And I would. I make sure I do lots of protection before I went there, but I would, because I actually want to, same as me, Sandra, I can't do strobe. I actually want to pick up those energies. I've never done the Ouija board, never will. I'm intrigued by it.
I think I want to buy one now. You're making me want to go buy one because I don't.
Yeah, see, I don't like Ouija boards, and I've never done one. But I mean, I know that recording an EVP is damn near the same thing as a Ouija board. It's just I just can't make myself do it. I don't know. It's maybe it was pounded in me so far back in my youth that it's in there and it ain't going nowhere. But I've just always been too chicken. But I will stay in, asylum or whatever before I will go to like pay $20 and go through a haunted house.
I have a man sending videos now.
I am more afraid of, I know something's going to happen. I just don't know when. Than I am going to a real haunted house. It's weird.
This is what JP just sent us. Look at this. Can you see?
I'll put it down a little more and to the right.
There you go. That's his fog machine.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
And then he's got this one here because it's super fog.
Nice. Heck yeah. Mine's not that. What kind of fog juice do you
And then
have?
he's got one with a spooky spooky thing.
Ooh,
there.
how fun.
I'm so jealous. I want one of those. I need one, but then where I live, they probably steal it. Because if it isn't tied down, they'll just steal it.
Yeah.
They would. But the thing is about the Ouija is the little spirit board. They're like, they sell them for kids now. It's like you go to a kid's store and they're like, they've got a spirit board and they have no idea what they're bringing in or what they're playing.
I've seen them at Walmart.
They have a... Sorry.
Yeah.
They had a book at Walmart a couple years back they had it out at Halloween time only, and it was about spells. And I opened it up, and I was like, "They're giving this to children? Like it was more like black magic. It was not white magic." I was like, "What the F, dude?"
Well, they say words are spells, which is so very, very true, because you always say to people, be careful what you say, because once you say it, you can't take it back. And they're very powerful. But the thing about Ouija is that a lot of people just go, is there anybody there? Well, that's what you're going to bring in. You're going to be getting anyone coming in. You have to sort of make sure you ground yourself and you're protected as much as you can. And ask
for heaven's sakes, don't leave it open.
Family and loved ones and guides and helpers to come through. But at the same time, I had a friend of mine years ago. He came round, he had this glass and he had all these letters in it, and he said, I bought around the Ouija board. I thought we could give it a go. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. You go. And apparently he came back and he said he did it with a couple of friends. He said, no lie, Wendy, the glass just lifted up and smashed, and I think that some people get that, oh, you're pushing it. No, you're pushing it. You're moving it.
Yeah.
But I think if you call anything in, anything is what you're going to get.
Yeah. If you leave it an open invitation, anything that wants to come through is going to come through.
Yep.
I just don't have one. I wouldn't have one in the house. It's just... and what did we think about these spirit boards? And as in giving these to kids for presents. Like, I mean, what do we think about that?
Well, okay. I think it's people who don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I think can make the biggest mess because they don't believe, that anything can happen.
There's this episode of Supernatural, which I'm trying not to think of because, as I say, my other half, he's never seen much of Supernatural. And obviously, because I got the car, he's trying to catch up. There's one episode I was like, no, we can't watch this. La, 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 no, we can't watch this. And I stopped it. He was like, why? And even now, I'm trying not to hear the words in my head. And they say this word over and over again. And what happens is I'll go to sleep at night and all my brain will be going this word over, and I'll be like, go away, stop it. And I'll have to watch something else. And I can't do it. I just cannot watch that episode. And I've seen it once and it haunted me for for so long. And I think as well, like people joke, oh, it's nothing. What do we think though of the whole idea of as we get older and we look at Halloween as in, yeah, it's fun, you dress up, whatever. What do we think of those that actually go down a different road with it, to see it as a far, perhaps in a darker way? I guess each to their own. But I wondered, like, it kind of scares me, that side, although I'm interested to obviously know, bits and pieces. It scares me, that thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, it's going into other realms.
Well, I think it scares me most because the kids and things that are doing these seances or, they'll read a ritual and go do it. They are just doing it for fun. They do not realize how dangerous it can be.
Yep.
And they can really, mess up their lives and other people's just by doing one thing that they thought was just fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it scares me most that there are things out there, like Carly said, with these spells in it, that kids are just going to be like, I don't like this girl at school, I'm going to start this.
Yep.
And they don't realize the power that can come through.
But I think a lot of us, especially women, after you watch movies like The Craft, using that as an example, it's like young girls, we do want to know what's out there. A lot of us do.
Sure.
We do those things. We do the Ouija. We do the tarot. We go somewhere and go, let's scare the shit out of each other. Like, as I'm talking as women, because I know guys do it too, but we're talking as women. As women, we seem to want to press that button, put our fingers into the hole in the wall, Carly, don't we?
We sure do.
How do we do that?
I think it's curiosity.
Yeah.
We just have a lot of curiosity.
Look
It's
what I
like
did
we
to
can't
that.
stand not knowing.
We got to know firsthand experience.
Exactly.
What would you do, Carly, on the Halloween Eve, using this as an example? What would you do that others might think is a bit scary to do, but what would you do on a Halloween Eve
That others might find scary? I'd have to think about that one for a second.
Because you said you went for a walk in the dark,
yes,
without a torch, to this place that's active.
correct.
And some people wouldn't even do that, wouldn't even go without a torch.
Yeah, I like to use it when I go without a torch, because that's my time for meditation while exercising. And I might choose to try and contact the dead if I wish. I might choose to conduct a spell if I wish. I guess that would be probably the scariest thing that I would do.
Colleen reckons she's going to ask her sister to see if the old Ouija board is still in the cupboard.
Yeah,
Keep it at your house. I don't want it.
send it
Let's
to me.
all do a seance with Auntie
need one.
Colleen. What about you, Val? Will you be doing anything Halloween?
Nothing scary. I try not to push my luck on things. I mean,
I would love to.
my daughters have tarot cards and they're learning to read them, but that's probably about as far as we would go, or myself. I don't push it, because if anything's going to happen, it'll be to me.
Same.
So I don't push the boundaries too much.
It's interesting. This place, I cannot watch scary movies at night. I can only watch them in the daytime, and I kid you not, I've had people that doubt me and don't believe me. And when I've been abroad or whatever, and they looked after Henry for me, I tell the story of they watched horror films. They're a big horror fanatic, and I said to them, whatever you do not watch it upstairs. But just don't watch it upstairs. If you're going to watch it in the day and do it downstairs. She totally forgot what she just did. And she was like, I'm just going to watch it. Anyway, so she rang me up. She goes, I got a bit of a problem. I said, what's wrong? She started thinking it's Henry. And she said, well, I went upstairs earlier on and your telly's on in the bedroom and the remote controls are in the drawer, shut by the bed. And she said, like, it's on. And I don't quite know why. And I said, well, I guess you could always put it down there, She said, no, because both of them on. And then apparently a friend of mine came around to see her, check if she needed anything. And she said, as it was there, the telly here would switch on and switch off, switch on and switch off. And she said, and I said, have you been watching horror films in the place? She said, yeah, I have. And I said, don't, because this is active. It's always been active, this house. I even told my landlord that, and he was like, really? This is brilliant, but it is active. And so I try not to aggravate whoever it is, because I'm the one that's staying here and sleeping. And I've had those horrible feelings where I've been in bed at night. And I don't know if you've ever had this. I know we're going on slightly different, but we're talking about spooky stuff. Have you ever had that where you wake up at night and you feel like someone's sitting on you, pressing you, holding you down? Have you had that?
Yeah. I actually saw her.
Not really.
Have you had that, Carly?
Not really, but I do have what's called somnambulism, where I do complex activities in my sleep and I'm fully asleep, but I can appear awake and have full-blown conversations with you and cook food and all kinds of stuff, and I'm fully asleep.
Yeah.
There's that.
I had an episode where I woke up at night and literally I could feel someone holding me down, and I just, it took me everything to get them off, to push me off, like mentally to get it off, and just see this shadow, like this dark shadow kind of run, and I was like, oh my God. Did you have something similar, Val?
Yeah. Both of my arms were under the blanket, so I had to work my hands out from under the blanket, in order to get her off of me. But yeah, it's almost like your arms weigh, 900 pounds.
Yeah.
And you're just trying your best to just move.
Yeah.
It's all you can do to move. So,
that's the scary part, isn't it? When you think there is something that is out there that is bigger than us. And, it's, I have a lot of people I know that wake up and they see people there or whatever. And so I think Halloween brings out that kind of, I wonder what's out there, like, pushing the boundaries. What are you planning to do? I know, Carly, you said you're going to do something for your daughter at home. Val, you're spending it with your girls, right?
Most likely I will go over there, do the show for, an hour or so, and depending on if they have a party or whatever to go to. And
what's your show again, Val? What time is it going to be on?
It'll be at 7. It'll be at 7, but it'll be Thursday instead of Saturday.
You didn't look like Johnny Depp, JP. Yes, because you normally do Saturday, but now you're going to do Thursday.
Yes. Well, just for Halloween.
What about you, Wendy? I know we briefly got to talk, and you said you usually throw a big party on Halloween.
I do, and I'm gutted that I will not be doing that this year. Also, because sometimes when my bestie comes over from Canada, her birthday's in October.
Why not? Okay, why not this? We oftentimes have to celebrate holidays from Halloween to Christmas to Easter, you name it.
Yeah.
We continue it because we didn't get through celebrating the whole holiday on the day of the holiday because stuff was kidsy. And so we'll continue, Christmas and opening the rest of our presents the day after Christmas, or maybe even a couple days if she needs a little break. Who's not to say, why couldn't you have a Halloween party next weekend if you're feeling better by then, and just have a belated costume Halloween party? Why not?
I think it's also like, I think you've got to be in the headspace for it as well. And the one I had before, it was a great party, and it was so good we had one the following week, and it was just like the neighbors must have been like, I hate them. But absolutely, when my birthday's coming up in January, so who knows?
Okay.
Who knows? It might be a little birthday take-tate.
Birthday costume party.
I'm not sure what I'm doing for Halloween. I might go somewhere. I don't know. But whatever I do, I will be watching Hocus Pocus because that is my movie.
My favorite.
I have to watch it. And Dark Shadows, as JP brought up, the Johnny Depp one, that's a very good movie. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yes, it is a good movie.
Great soundtrack. It's been an interesting show. It's a subject that I could talk about all night because it's one of my favorites. It's my Christmas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I think it's an interesting subject we could look at in further, as in the tarot and scrying and etc. We could look at that, but we haven't forgotten that we also started our sexual freedom last week, and we've got their other series to come as well. So absolutely, I hope everyone's enjoyed our little show tonight. It's our little Halloween show. I'm really interested to also do one about, is it the Day of the Dead, which is November 1st, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting to do that one. But I hope we don't keep anyone up tonight with spooky thoughts. Halloween should be enjoyed for the festival that it is to, honor your ancestors if you need to do that. Wear lovely fancy dress, get lots of sweeties, and watch great movies and be around great company. That sounds like a fantastic Halloween for me. But I also won't be forgetting the message behind it as well. So Val, tell us again about your show.
It'll be Thursday the 31st at 7:00 on Facebook Live, like always. Probably be just open mic night, just a short little Halloween special, so to speak.
I shall try and, because our time difference is at the moment not too bad, so I might actually get to see that. And obviously, Wicked Women will be back next Sunday, which will be our first one in November. I can't believe November next week.
How did that happen? Where did 2024 go?
It's just gone.
It's gone. Poof, gone.
But I actually really like dressing up. I think we should dress up every week.
I'm down.
I've liked these pigtails.
Okay, but can I get a bigger corset because I can't breathe?
Bigger corset means lesser cleavage, and I've got to say, I'm going with the bigger.
I don't know about that, but I either need bigger corset or lesser stomach.
Jason, do you dress up at Halloween? Costumes would be cheaper because they'd be on sale.
Hey, there we go.
That's a movie I found a bit scary as well. Christopher Walken with the headless
Sleepy Hollow.
But yeah, I'd like to hear all your stories. Like, you can leave us some messages. We always read them when we get them.
Comment your favorite Halloween movie. Comment what you do for Halloween and what Halloween means to you. Be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button if you want to get notifications when we go live. Stay tuned every Sunday. I gotta learn all the times right. 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. London time, and 5 p.m. Virginia, whatever East Coast time.
I'm so impressed. At the moment, we came on early tonight, 9 p.m. because our clocks went back. But next week, we will be back to 10 o'clock. Unless we keep it at 9, which we could. But we'll be back next Sunday, 10 p.m. And the same time for you guys out there. I wish I could be with you, my girls. I really, really wish I could be with you.
One day, hopefully, we can do Halloween together.
Yeah,
but we keep saying one day, and those days just seem to get further and further away.
Yeah,
we gotta fix that. Why isn't my button for the teleporter working? Come on.
It's because it's so bloody expensive to fly, isn't it? That's the problem now.
Exactly.
They put the prices up, and you guys have a little thing called an election coming up soon, so it's all excitement. It's all boring over here. There's nothing exciting going on.
We come over there. I'm scared. I'm scared.
I imagine there's going to be a few Halloweens with people dressing up as Trump and Kamala as well, right? That'll be an interesting, scary one. But in the meantime, my loves, I could sit and chat with you all night, but I have to let you go. I hope everybody's enjoyed watching a bit of Wicked Women about Samhain and Halloween and All Hallows Eve. Have a very safe Halloween. Look, Terry's coming late as usual. Have a very safe Halloween, and whatever you guys do, be really, really careful. And if you do touch a spirit board or a Ouija board, be really, really careful. Because we do not recommend that you do that. Carly, Val, lovely to see my girls. You look
lovely to see you as well. I hope you sleep well tonight.
I'm not going to sleep now. I will be staying up for a little while before I go to bed, but
I think maybe we take a look, and before next week, maybe we consider 9 p.m. London time potentially, because that might be better for over there for people, and it might be a little better for us because if we go a little bit earlier, it won't run into dinner time. So people might be able to, from America, actually be able to join more than 4 p.m. I would think so. Maybe we give that a consideration.
What do you think, Val? Do you think 9 could work? I mean, as in for you, it'd be a little bit earlier.
It's all right if I don't have anything to do. But
So
like if I go to
an
the
hour.
girls or go to mom's or somewhere, then it kind of cuts it.
Yeah.
You know, cuts it close as it
it's
is.
just an hour earlier. That's all.
Because that was something I wanted to talk about, was maybe trying a different time frame for us, because I feel like our time frame, I mean, it works, but I feel like it's kind of inconvenient for both sides of America. And
I think it's also like I've watched the people coming on and off tonight, and it's certainly there's more people around, I think, because of the time. So I think for the UK, absolutely 9 p.m. would work, because it's Sunday evening and people aren't in bed, and they're still up. So I think that might work.
Because we have more people in the chat still right now than we have in a while. So
yeah, and I think it's the time difference, certainly in the UK. Like by the time I finish, it's midnight. And so it's the same with Robertson, which sadly I wasn't back on Tuesday. Not my fault. But we should be back hopefully very, very soon. Maybe it'll be next week. Who knows? But we'll be back next Saturday. No, next Sunday. Val.
Next Sunday.
I'm like, wait.
I know.
Me, Wendy.
I tell you what, I'll be on Saturday. I'm going to be at a firework display, because we have Guy Fawkes coming up in the UK, which, if anybody knows, is where the guy tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament and did not succeed, and they hung, drawn and quartered him. And every year we celebrate the fact that he didn't blow up the government, and so they have fireworks shows and effigies and everything. So I'm going to that for the first time in a long time. So that's where I'll be.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm just trying to find our music. Where is it? It's here somewhere. But anyway, darlings, have a great night. Because I know you're off to have a good evening.
You too, and thank you everybody, and have a happy Halloween.
It doesn't work for me, Carly.
Doesn't work for me
every
either.
Time I try to help you, then I can't do it.
How dare you? It doesn't work for me. I cannot look. It just won't do it. It won't do it.
You gotta really put your hand like
it's not working.
Bring it together. And then there you go.
Look, she's got the gift of it. Anyway, guys, happy Halloween. Have a great week, and we will see you. If you guys hang around just for a minute, so I have a quick chat with you before we go. I'll see you all next Sunday.
Bye.